I feel like there's a lot. So I became pregnant at the age of 19.
Okay.
And my dad is the pastor's son.
Okay.
So I've grown up in church. My grandma was a pastor. And once I knew I was pregnant, I knew, this church, not in a bad way.
Yeah.
I was basically sinning. But sometimes we all sin. But when there's evidence of the sin, it's a bit like, ooh. So my life changed drastically when I found out I was pregnant with my daughter, who's 7 now.
Jahnay, thank you so much for coming. I wanted to talk to you because I've seen what you're doing, and like I said to you in the messages, I love your TikTok videos.
Oh, thank you.
Every time I come across your videos, I stop and I listen. I really listen because I can just see the passion, and what you're saying is often things that I'm guessing that you've been through and you've lived it. When you're saying that you're coming from someone who's gone through the situation and you've learned, so you're essentially teaching your audience. Thank you for that. Before we get into how that came about, what was younger Jahnay like?
I'd say I was a tomboy. First thing that comes to mind, I was very boisterous in a sense. I loved tracksuits, trainers. I wasn't really I wore dresses, but I wasn't very girly. Yeah. And I was quite boisterous. Okay. A character, understanding, kind, patient, but friend happy. Like I love my friends. I love going out. I couldn't really go out much, but if I went out with my other cousins, then I could go out.
Oh, you can go out with family, but not really friends.
I could go out with my friends, but I had a certain time to be home. Wow. Until I got to a teenager, they were like, okay, you can go out a bit more. I was quite bubbly, I suppose, a bit naughty. Well, not too naughty.
In school or anything?
Well, I wasn't naughty. I never got excluded.
Okay.
So I was a bit smart.
Okay.
But I was quite well behaved in school, but I didn't like to go to school. So I would go halfway, especially in year 10. That's when I started going half days. I started being a bit naughty, bunking lessons. Well, not really bunking. I was kind of like in school. Yeah. But I'll go late. I'll turn up to school at like 12 o'clock and it started at 9.
Oh wow. So where would you go?
I'll be at home. I'll go to the cafe. Like, me and my friends, we would have big breakfast. We'll get coffee. Then we'll sneak in like one after the other. I would have to go first. My friend would come after. But I wasn't like going to see boys or anything. I was filling my belly.
Right, before
yeah.
Yeah. And what school did you go to?
I went to Alexandra Park Secondary School.
Okay, so is that a mixed school?
Yeah, mixed school.
Okay, so what was that experience like? Because I went to a girls' school, so my experience may have been different from your experience. So what was it like being with girls and boys?
I think it was good. You get to basically a diverse experience, especially like the backgrounds. Yeah. It was very, very diverse. So it was in the middle of Mosel Hill, but then also in McQueen. So you had all different types of characters, different walks of life. So I've got a wide variety of friends, and I love them all. I'm still friends with them.
Still friends with
them?
That's good.
So I've got friendships from 15 years ago, and I was literally with some of them on Friday. So I'm very happy for the school that I went to, and I feel like it helped shape me. Yes, because I have different working class, middle class, all different types of walks of life, to be honest. Yeah. But most of my friends are actually boys. Okay. Because I went to a mixed school. Right. And I feel like as a woman, you actually have to have that. I feel like it's important. Definitely. My mum didn't send me to a girls' school on purpose because she was like, you need to have balance. Mixed with boys. And I've got quite a lot of male cousins. So it was good. I don't wish I went to a girls' school. No offense. No offense. It's fine. Because I got along in school better with boys, even though I've had female friends. Yeah, but you appreciated the male friendships you had in school. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So when you were in school, did you have any idea of what you wanted your future to look like? When I was in school? Yeah. Not really. Okay. Primary school, I wanted to be a hairdresser. I can't do hair, save my life. So I don't know where that came from. Secondary school, I just loved business, so I studied business. But I also knew that I wasn't going to go to uni. Like, and I ended up going, but I didn't want to go. It wasn't like, when I finish school, I'm going to study this. I knew I wanted to be creative, and I also knew because of my family, majority of them that are successful didn't go to uni. So I was like, okay, they're all successful, didn't go to uni. I don't have to go to uni because I don't want to become a doctor. Yeah. I don't want to be a nurse. I don't want to be a lawyer. Yeah, I just literally want to be creative, and I always did drama and performing arts. So I was like, okay, I don't have to go to uni to become an actress. So I just knew that I was going to do something in business. I just didn't know how, I didn't know when, but I knew I was going to do my business GCSEs, go to college, study business, and then whatever happens after that happens.
So you wanted to be a businesswoman?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, because my dad owns a business, my grandma owns a business, my auntie, like all business oriented. So it's like, none of them went to uni, but they still succeeded. So when I was in school, it wasn't like, oh yeah, you have to go to uni. I knew I had to do something because I couldn't live in my house and do nothing. But I just didn't know what exactly.
So looking back at your family who are running successful businesses, what have you learned from them in terms of how to run a business, the do's and the don'ts?
What have I learned from it? Because there's so much to learn. I haven't taken everything, but what I've learned most, especially from my grandma, is that you don't have to come from something to become something. And as long as you trust God and you're determined and you're willing and consistently show up, you're going to make it if it's meant for you to make it. And I believe that you've got to have a business in what's for you. You can't just tap into, I mean, you can tap into random stuff, but it's got to make sense. So I feel like I do stuff that makes sense for me and others are going to benefit from it. If that makes sense.
So talking about things that make sense to you, what businesses do you have?
So currently I have, I sell satin hair products. And I love my hair.
That's nice.
Yeah, thank you. This is a weave at the moment.
Oh, really?
The front is mine.
Really
Thank you. I love hair and I love satin hair products, but most importantly, I love fashion. So I tried to branch off in that area, but it's a lot. So I'm still in the works of that. But I just basically sell products that are going to make you feel good at night, feel good in the day. And I'm still learning, I'm in the process of expanding to do fashion. But then at the moment, I'm also doing speaking. So I've now branched off to do speaking engagements, speaking at public events, and it's paid work. So that's something I'm trying to juggle, the business and me, which is the brand also. But that's all I'm focused on right now, speaking, my public engagements and my brand.
When it comes to the speking, how did you get into speaking? How did that
Someone asked me that on Saturday because I had a panel. And I don't know when, to be honest with you. If I talk about TikTok, I've started consistently posting on TikTok only in June.
Okay, so now I need some tips.
Because
I am trying to work on my personal brand and I feel like I've got a bit of a following on Instagram, but that's mostly people I know. So I find Instagram and TikTok are completely different. The audience is so different. I feel like the TikTok audience are very welcoming,
receptive,
receptive, they will engage with you. While Instagram, it's not that. Like I think Instagram is a bit too serious. So what are some of the tips for someone like myself who wants to be consistent on? I know first of all consistency, of course, but if there's any tips and tricks I should look out for.
I feel like when it comes to Instagram, I actually don't have tips for that because
not Instagram, TikTok.
Oh, TikTok, because someone asked me this other day. They said, how can they manage growing both? And I feel like you personally you just have to focus on one. And with TikTok, I literally just said, I saw a video and a girl said, I posted every single day for about 6 months, relatable content or content that was relatable to her and that she knew her audience liked, and that's how she grew. So I said, okay, I'm gonna post every single day for as long as I have to, but I'm gonna make sure that the content makes sense. So I literally just pray all the time and whatever comes to my mind, I'll choose people who do these things that I'm going to list. Number 1, choose people who choose you. Number 2, take the time out to understand you, to know what you like, to know what you don't like, to know what you want in life, to know what to give you, to how to treat you, how to spoil you, how to love you, how to care for you. Choose people who learn how to understand you and make the effort to understand you, to care for you. Write down my notes and then I'll turn on my camera, normally in my car. But I try not to do the car anymore because I feel like, is it illegal? Like, I don't know.
I'm not holding
the phone. However, but I feel like I speak best in my car. I don't know what is. I don't know what's placed in my car. I do worship in my car and play gospel music, but that's all I do. I literally just stay consistent and I stayed connected to God. So all my messages, they are me, but I feel like God has given me the opportunity to speak. So I feel like you just have to be consistent and you have to know your niche. What are you speaking about? What is your purpose to come on this platform and speak? Do you want to make people laugh? Because that's also adding to someone. Do you want to encourage someone? Do you want to motivate? Do you want to speak to a pain point in someone? When I come on, I try to encourage, motivate and share my story so that others know that they're not alone. So I feel like you just have to find your niche and be consistent. Like, everyone can't post one video a day. It's not for everyone. Some people can post once a week and their audience is still engaged, their audience is still receptive. But I feel like in the season that I'm in, once a day and mini little vlogs here and there, because people are interested in my parenting life, in my social life. So I try to do both. But I say, find a routine or a schedule that fits you, and also know what you're speaking about. Or if you dance, I see people dance. I can't dance.
Yeah.
I cannot dance. I don't know how to follow those TikTok trends, but others do it and it works for them. You just gotta find your category, what works for you, and stick to it.
So you're saying, if you want to post funny videos, stick to that. If you want, or can you switch? Or at what point can you switch?
See, I feel like you have to master one category first. That's my personal opinion. Because it can become a lot to be trying to be funny, trying to be motivational. Like, some people do it and they do it well. But I feel like, find your category. Mine right now is speaking and encouraging and speaking about God and, you know, parenting. And then sometimes I might do a vlog. But I realise that the vlog isn't doing as well as the speaking, because the majority of the people that are on my page for the speaking. So you've got to find your niche, master it, and then add it in a little bit. Because I see people that are speakers and they have like little comedy videos here and there, which is, it works because your audience become a part of you, like they're like a family.
Yeah, so they're following you regardless, they want to see you,
But I feel like, firstly, just master one niche, one category, and then after, add in the little ones and see where it goes.
Okay. So you said you started consistently in June.
Yeah.
So looking back now, what growth have you seen?
Oh. So basically, in June, before June, I was just making videos here and there, literally about anything, or just anything I thought, just to follow trends. Like, TikTok is new. I was doing it for fun. I wasn't doing it to make an impact or be positive or encourage anyone. I was just doing it. And since June, my friend passed away in June, and I feel like that's what sparked me to be like, okay, I've watched my friend lose her life. Life is so valuable, life is so precious. If I'm going to be here and do something, I'm going to do it 100%. And since June, I literally just recorded, I bulk record. So I might record 3 videos in one day, or I might be in my car and I'm recording 5 videos, or I'm at home, 5 videos, and I just put it in drafts. And then I'll say, okay, this day, randomly, I'm posting this video. But I've stuck at it since June, and I've seen tremendous growth, not just on my TikTok.
So I read a scripture today. It was Matthew 25 verse 14 to 30. This scripture was basically based on a master who gave 3 servants gifts. One servant he gave 5 gifts, another servant he gave 2 gifts, and the other servant he gave 1. Well, when I say gifts, the Bible says talents. So the one that had 5 was given 5 talents, went on. He went on and traded the 5 gifts or 5 talents, and in modern terms, doubled it and got 5 more talents. And the servant who received 2 talents from their master went on and did the same. He traded with them and gained 2 more talents. But the one who had received 1 talent, that 1 talent, the one servant that received 1 talent, you know what he went on and did? He went and dug a hole in, I don't know what pit, sand, mud, wherever he went and dug a hole. And when he dug that hole, the one little talent the master gave him, he went and put it in that hole that he dug and buried it. Yep, you got it. He buried that 1 talent. When the rest went and flipped it, in modern day terms, he went and buried it.
But in me, mentally, spiritually, physically, even the way I speak, my friends and family are like, you're speaking better, you're being more authentic. And I was like, oh, really? Okay, guys. But I feel like I've also grown in followers. I think today I'm at 10.5k.
Wow.
And in October, I was at 3,000 or 4,000.
So in a month?
Literally. So in October, November, yeah. So when I was on holiday, on holiday I was at 7,000. And now in November, I'm at 10.5k, yeah. So also I feel like it's consistency and being authentic. Like, people can tell when you're not being yourself. People can tell when it's imagery or you're just trying to get likes.
Yeah.
I feel like once my aim also shifted from getting likes and getting followers to actually getting a message out. Like, my friend said to me, oh, how did you get here, Jahnay? I said, literally, I didn't care, and I still don't now. If one person's watched it and it's got 1 like, as long as that one person heard the message and I know I can have the opportunity to make a positive impact, my job there is done. Like, I don't care if I've got don't get me wrong, having 10k followers is amazing. It's a blessing, yeah, wonderful, because I can speak more and encourage more. But even if it was 5,000, I would still be doing what I'm doing because it's not about the likes and the shares. It's about I can make someone else feel like they're not alone and that they can do it and they can make it and they're not stuck, if that makes sense. Yeah.
So how do you feel knowing that you're able to impact people in that way? Have you received messages like, oh my gosh, thank you so much, this resonated with me? How does that make you feel? Because maybe there was a time where you needed to hear those things that you're putting out there to your audience.
Saying what you're saying, there was actually videos I would watch. So there was a lot of people that I would watch and seeing they were speaking like me or speaking even better and it was encouraging me. So I thought like, I know the impact they had on me, so I know I could have that impact on someone else. Yeah. And I do get a lot of messages and it's quite overwhelming because I'm thinking me, like, like literally I screenshot them and I post them, but it's like, really me? Like someone even messaged me and said, oh, I'm surprised you responded. And I'm thinking, what? But it's like more than one person that said, I'm surprised you responded. And I feel like when people get a certain following or they're doing something, they can become, what's the word, unreachable. And I don't want to be unreachable. Yeah. I want to be relatable and reachable. I want to be able to, you can message me and I will respond. Don't get me wrong, my friends and family will tell you, my Snapchat responses, my other social media responses are terrible. But I do want to be reachable to be able to, I don't know, sometimes you need to message someone to just, a stranger sometimes connects more with you than your own family. And I would like to just always be able to be reachable so that someone can message me and feel like they're not alone or that they have someone to talk to that's not going to judge them. Because sometimes your own family members or friends will judge you. You don't want to go to them because you know they know your situation or they know the ins and outs. And sometimes, I know it sounds crazy, a stranger can not relate more, but you will listen to them more because it's not coming from a judgmental or I know you point place. So I just feel like the messages and people reaching out to me, I appreciate it because it lets me know that what I'm doing is not in vain. The time I'm sacrificing, the effort I'm putting in is not in vain. And it's just like, wow, thank you, God. The first thought is, thanks, God, because it's not me. Like, I couldn't do it by myself. I really couldn't do it by myself. But yeah, I'm grateful for the messages and I'm grateful for the support.
Where do you see it going? What do you want to get out of this? Or what imprint do you want to leave?
Where do I see it going? That's a big one. I hope it will... I don't know, you know. Where do I see it going? You know, it's so crazy because I was asked this on Saturday, like, where do you want to be in 5 years, in 10 years? And I hope, and I'm putting it out there before God, I'm saying that I want to be consistently being paid for what I do, which is speaking. I want to make it a living and I want to be able to get to the point where I am living off my gifts, which is speaking, encouraging, motivating, mentoring. I want to live off my gift, but I want to get to a point where I'm financially secure enough to look after myself, look after my family, but also give back. So I want to do charities. I want to focus on, I don't want to single out the men, but like, I love the men, love it all, but I know what it's like to be a woman. I know what it's like to need to be encouraged and uplifted. So I want to one day create charities and foundations for women that are in toxic relationships, that need to be encouraged, that need confidence building. I want to work with women. And I want to hold events. I've held events before, so I want to do events, seminars, workshops. I also want to do, what's the word? I'm looking for the word now. Not ebooks, but like you can get online advice. Hopefully I'll do, not calendars, but you know the things like journals. I want to do journals. There's so much things I want to do. I know it's all in timing. But I don't just want to be speaking on the internet. No, I want to be in person. I want to see people. I want to, what's the word? Not when you only go to a counsellor, but they're connecting with you. I want to do mentorship. So I don't just want to speak on the camera and you see me on the camera and you like and that's it. You keep it moving. I want to make sure
build that relationship and see the growth with the person.
Because even though I don't really, I don't know, I'm an anti-social person. I like my own space. I like to be in my own home, but I also like to go out and mingle. Don't get me wrong, there's a point where my social battery goes down, but I still want to be able to, like I said, reachable. Like a lot of people get to a point where they're not reachable. I want you to know that you can come to me because I'm not God. I'm God's child, but I'm not God. I want to be able to connect, and I also want it to be like a safe place. So I feel like there's many events I've been to where they create a safe place for women to speak, men to speak, to be connected and to network. So I want to be able to create spaces like that also.
Yeah, that's amazing. Let's talk about how you got here though, because I know probably a few years back you were not the same person. So talk me through that journey, especially you're a single mother. So that journey from having your daughter till now, what challenges have you been through? Because I feel like our challenges, they make us. Maybe without your challenges, you wouldn't be sitting here today so confident, a speaker, encouraging people. So what are some of the challenging things that you've been through?
Oh, there's a lot of challenging things I've been through when I think about it. My whole childhood.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I wasn't dragged up or been through a lot, but I feel like there's a lot. So I became pregnant at the age of 19. And my dad is the pastor's son. So I've grown up in church. My grandma was a pastor. And once I knew I was pregnant, I knew, this church, not in a bad way. I was basically sinning. But sometimes we all sin. But when there's evidence of the sin, it's a bit like, ooh. So my life changed drastically when I found out I was pregnant with my daughter, who's 7 now. How did that change me a lot?
How did your life change?
Drastically. So I went from being spoiled little girl, living at home with their dad. Anything I wanted, I got. I worked, but it was literally just to buy trainers. So I went from working to buy trainers to now, okay, you're pregnant, you're 19. And when I think about it now, it's actually crazy. Because my life did a 360 turn. So it went from not having to worry about anything to now I have to worry about everything. And it wasn't ideal because in my eyes, I said that when I have a child, I'm going to be married. My stepmom and my dad got married. My stepmom was 21 and my dad was 27. I was like, I'm going to get married first. I'm going to be 21 and married, then have kids. I was 19 and pregnant. And I wasn't with my daughter's dad at the time. And that was another thing that was kind of hard for me because it's like how I've been raised was never to be having a child out of wedlock. And now I'm 19, having a child out of wedlock. And that situation was very toxic in the sense of we was both young. How can I explain it? Both young, naive, didn't know what we was about to embark on. Because when you think, oh, you get pregnant, you have a child, you're thinking, oh yeah, it's easy. Or you don't think. But it was hard. I'd say first 2 to 3 months, I was very depressed. And when I mean depressed, like I stayed at home in my mum's bedroom for a month straight, ordering, I think I spent £950 that I didn't have. It was overdraft because I stopped working, I had no money. And I remember sitting in my mum's bedroom, day and night. She was going to work. I basically had to leave my dad's house as well.
Oh, you had to leave?
Yeah, I knew I had to leave. My dad told me from a young age, if you get pregnant, my dad was strict. No boys. Boys only want one thing. So I couldn't go to him because he told me boys only want one thing. When you're a parent, it's so important to leave a door open for your child to be able to come to you about anything. So yes, tell them what you believe. Oh, I believe men only want one thing, but also tell them the other side that there is men that are good and you can come to me if you meet a man. Like, my dad wasn't like that. He was straight militant. No, boys only want one thing. I don't want to hear about it. My mom, she was a bit more open, but any boyfriend I had, I only had 2. Secret. I had to keep a secret. Couldn't tell them. And I feel like secrets don't help because when you keep secrets, if things are going on that you can't speak about, because it's a secret, you can't tell anyone. So you're going to suffer in silence.
You're going through it alone,
And you go through it alone. So a lot of my hurt and pain and turbulence in my relationships was alone because I wasn't meant to be in them. Because I'm a pastor's granddaughter, you're supposed to get married, you're dating to marry. Not that I knew what that was at that age. But I feel like that kind of made my relationships harder too. When I got pregnant with Rain, my dad was like, he saw the email. That's the craziest thing. So my emails were connected to my dad's iPad. And I didn't tell him I was pregnant. I literally left one day and he was texting me, calling me, he wasn't answering the phone. And then I told my mum, and my mum was like, okay, we need to tell your dad. I was like, I'm not doing that. There's no way. There's no way I'm telling my dad. So then my mum texted him and then he called me, I didn't answer. Then he texted me, I think it was like baby scan, emailing you saying like 3 weeks pregnant. I was like, Mom, did you tell him? She was like, yeah. He sent my suitcase outside my nan's house. Yeah, he sent my suitcase to my nan's and I knew in that moment that it was going to be like, okay, that's it. Like the daddy dream, being spoiled by your dad is all over now because you have done the one thing he told you your whole life not to do, you've done it. And to be honest with you, was I angry or hurt? Yes, I was hurt, but at the same time, I knew what to expect, and I knew that decision that I made was going to break my dad's heart and affect him deeply, because he's done, like, when I mean my dad is my best friend. Still now, he's my best friend. We went through a little rocky bit, but he did everything he can for me. Like, he still is the best dad and the best granddad. So when I was pregnant, I knew I was like, yeah, I'm going to break his heart. Let me just run away from the problem. But after that, I think the fact that I wasn't with my daughter's dad also kind of hurt me, because I never planned to become a baby mother or a single mom. So for my whole pregnancy, we wasn't together. And that was kind of hard, because I dreamed of having a support system, like having someone be there for me throughout my whole pregnancy. Like, no one was there, literally. It was just my mom and my family and friends, a few of them. And he would pop in and out, help me here and there. But because we wasn't together, there's only so much he could do. And he was only 18 and I was 19. But I was more mature. And then my pregnancy was quite hard. I think the depression hit because I didn't know what to do. Imagine being 19, going from having everything you wanted to now I'm 2 months pregnant, no money, no car, just a driving license, and living back at the place that you left when you was 14. So I went back to my mum's. And then I remember just lying in bed, ordering Uber, just eats to £950. And then my friend called me. And I don't talk to her as much now, but she watches this. She actually helped me that day. She called me and she was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm lying in bed. She was like, okay, I'm coming to get you. And at that time, my mum had moved from North London all the way far, like in East. From my friends, it was so far. But she drove all that way. And I remember she said, oh, we're going out. She took me duck and waffle. So I went from literally the dark. Yeah, I remember. She took me from the darkness into light. Like I say that, I was literally at home in my mum's bedroom in the dark. And she took me from darkness to the light. We went into duck and waffle. It's not that bright in there. But compared to a dark bedroom, it was bright. And I remember just feeling like, if she can come and take me out of a dark room and make me feel something again, imagine what I can do for myself. So then she took me out of the dark room, went to the restaurant, and I was like, okay, this is great. Now, okay, my child is going to be here soon. I have no money. I'm not somebody that has been raised on nothing or doesn't know how to make money, even though I'm only 19. I'm going to get a job. Mind you, I had never applied for a job the way I've applied like this. I went to my nan's, I went on Indeed, I think I applied for maybe 30 jobs. And then I was thinking, okay, who's going to accept me, because I don't have much experience. I was at uni at the time, I was at Chicken Shed Theatre College, but it was a branch of Middlesex University. So I was studying performing arts and business. But it was too much. I was like, I can't do this. I'm not making any money. I'm not seeing no money. Student finance is only doing so much. I'm going to work. So I applied for Paddy Power, got the job, didn't tell them I was pregnant. Worked there for like 8 months, and obviously I'm pregnant, so I had to go. But I feel like the turning point for me in that moment, for my depression, was that I have a child here. So do I want this child to be born into this depression spirit? Am I going to let this situation defeat me, or I'm going to do what I have to do for my child? And at 19, I was like, yeah, my child's not here. I never came into poverty, so why does my child must come into poverty and just suffer? No, with or without her dad, even though he helped here and there, I'm still going to do what I have to do, because at the end of the day, it was my choice to have my child, so I'm going to do what I have to do for her. And so basically, I got out of that darkness, and then it was time to parent. And I feel like that was the hardest point. What I realised in parenting at the age of 19, or trying to parent from 19 to 27, it's going to be hard to parent with someone that, when you're not like-minded. It's going to be hard to agree and be together, because we did try to be together, but it didn't work. Because what I realised is, the Bible says it as well, you have to be equally yoked. And you take it like, oh, nah, whatever, equally yoked. Like, if we like the same things, if we like trainers and he likes trainers, it's deeper. It's not just about the external, it's about internal. And also family morals. So you think, what family? Like, I just love that person. What does their family matter? But families, like my family, has an impact on how I am and what I do and why I'm the way I am. So Tom's family member is going to have an impact. Everyone's family is going to have an impact. You're going to all have to come together and you're going to have to agree. If you cannot agree with a person in a relationship, how are you going to agree when it comes to parenting? And I feel like, don't get me wrong, you don't have to agree on everything. But in order to raise your child and be together, there's a certain key components that have to make sense. And if it's not making sense, it's not going to work. But when you're 20, 21, 22, and you want that family unit, and that's what you know that in a Christian household, or that's what it's meant to be, you're going to try your hardest. No matter what, you're going to take whatever comes your way. That's what I was doing. I was taking whatever comes my way just to be able to say, or look like the good family or appear like everything was going well, when really it was going bad.
Okay. So on the outside, you will show that everything's good, families, but deep down,
it wasn't working. And don't get me wrong, there was high times, like there was great moments where we was in love, happy, it was working, but I just realised there'll be like a day where it'd be like, okay, something's wrong. Like, what's wrong? What's going on here? Like, I would feel in my spirit, and I would always know that God didn't want me to be with that person. And it wasn't because they're a bad person or they're terrible. It's just that it wasn't for me. And it's crazy because sometimes you can love someone, but they're not for you. And it when I mean it hurts me because I'm like, I want this person to be for me because I love them and I have their child, and this is the idea that I believe is right for me. But in reality, God had more, and God still has more. And then it was like, okay, how much hurt and pain are you going to go through before you say enough is enough? And then I got to breaking points many times. Like, it wasn't just one breaking point. I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, it was easy. No, it wasn't easy. I was a fool. I was a clown. I allowed things that if my daughter told me she'd allowed it, I'll be like, do you want me to like slap you? Do you want to slap some sense into me, you know? But I feel like everything I went through in the relationship, and I'm not going to sit here and say I was perfect, because I was not. There were some things that, you know, you give as hard as you get. I was given hard, like, oh yeah, I was a bit much. But then sometimes when you're in pain, you're going to react from the pain. And you're going to act out of pain. Does that make sense? Like the pain that you're going through, the hurt, the frustration, it's going to come out in your actions. And I believe there was many things that I've done that I'm not proud of, and that I was out of my character. But I think those things that I did made me realise that I can't do this anymore because I'm not meant to be acting like this. I'm not meant to be doing these things. I have a daughter to raise, and she's going to be watching me. So I feel like that's what made me also close the door, because it was like, when my daughter gets to this age, is she going to be able to say my mum set a good example, my mum showed me, or is she going to say my mum suffered in silence and was weak and didn't do what she needed to do? And I was like, yeah, no. Children hear what you say, but they watch what you do. So the best thing you can do is set an example so they can see, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do, not, oh, this is what I'm told to do. So I was like, yeah, she's going to lead by my example, so I have to make sure I'm doing what is right for her and right for me, even if it breaks me, even if it breaks my heart. Sometimes you actually have to break your heart to fix yourself. Does that make sense? So I literally broke my own heart, shattered my own heart. But I was like, yeah, I'm ready. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't easy. Did I go back a few times? Yeah. Did I dibble and dabble and think, oh God, pray that God change him, make him the man for me? But he wasn't. So I just had to let it go. And did it hurt? 100%. Was it confusing for my daughter? Yeah. But I prayed, and my daughter was very intelligent. So I was able to explain in a child-friendly way that sometimes it doesn't always work out. Does it mean that the other person's bad? No. Does it mean that I'm bad? No. It just means that we wasn't aligned and we had to let it go. But I feel like the pain and the experiences I got from previous relationships were very like life-changing, life-altering, but it was all for a reason. So I wouldn't be here, I wouldn't be able to speak if I didn't go through that. So like my first relationship as well was abusive. So it was mentally, physically abusive. So from the age of 16 to 18, my first boyfriend, not the father of my child, he was very abusive. So I mean like black eyes,
And how did you hide that from your dad in his house?
How did I hide it? You know, I don't even know how I hide it. Because me and my dad are very close. Like he dropped me everywhere. He picked me up, he dropped me. I don't know how he didn't see that. Oh, actually, no. What I would do is I'll go to sleepovers. So like I have a lot of older cousins. So like I said before, I would only be allowed to go out if I said I was with a certain cousin. Or if I said, yeah, it's literally my cousins or one of my friends that's basically like a cousin. So I'll be like, oh Dad, I'm at this person's house today. And he'll be like, okay, no problem. But he would call me non-stop to make sure I'm there. And I'll answer. Sometimes I wouldn't answer. But I'll be able to hide it because I would say, I'm at a relative's house and he's not going to check because it's my relative and I'm a teenager. He trusted me enough, which is bad. God forgive me. But he trusted me enough and I was telling lies. And I hid it from my family. Like, so my cousins would know, like my girl cousins, but they didn't know the severity of it. My boy cousins, I could not tell them. They would unalive him. In a nice way. So I didn't tell them until I left him alone.
How did you leave? What was that breaking point that you needed to leave? Because at that point you're 16 to 18. Yeah. So how did you leave that situation?
It's actually funny and it's actually sad at the same time. When I was younger, I think I allowed people to treat me bad. So it was to the point where you could treat me bad, but talk about my family, I'm gonna take you out. Okay. Like, don't play with my family. For me, family is everything. I have a very big family, mom's side and dad's side, and like most of my bestest friends are my cousins. Yeah, like, I love my family. So you could talk about me, disrespect me, be mean to me, be horrible to me, and I'll be like, okay, no problem. Say one word about my cousin, trouble my family. What? Who you talking to? The other side, I'm very like protective of my family, and that person basically said to me, they're being rude to me, and it was already on breaking point. I already had the abuse was so bad. I had an injunction out on them, but I didn't do it. They attacked me in public. So basically, I'll tell you that story. There was meant to be. I was saying I had enough of you. Like, I don't want to be with you anymore. This relationship is over. Let's leave it as that. The person has texted me like, oh, come and meet me and let's have a meal. Like, I just want to speak to you. I just want to apologise and just leave it here. Me like an idiot, like, no, I don't want to see you. Please leave me alone. Like, they were so bad. They were even threatened to come to my family members' houses once they came to my college. And that was when my mum found out, because they came to my college and they said they're not leaving until I come out. And then
was this person older than you? Was he meant to be in college as well? Oh,
he was on the road. You know, in college. Didn't have time to be at college. They would be making money on the roads. Wasn't making much, but no, sorry. But he wasn't making much. But that's probably why he was stressing me. Then he came to my college, and then I remember this college, Chicken Shed. I love them. Like, they're so inclusive, and they actually care. So I remember my attendance at the time was really bad because of what I was going through, but they didn't understand why. And they came to my college. And I saw, I'm in my lesson, and I see the teachers whispering, but they're looking at me. So I'm thinking, why are they looking at me? But I remember him texting me saying, I'm going to come to your college if you don't come to my house. I'm like, I'm not coming. Anyway, they were whispering. I put two and two together. I was like, yeah, he's outside. So they've gone in, come back out, gone in like 2 times, and they've come up to me and they're like, Jahnay, there's somebody here. But they said, we told them you're in your lesson, but they said they're not leaving. I was like, tell him to go. They've come back. They're like, he said he's not going until he sees you. He's worried about you. And I was like, worried about me? Gone out. He's like, oh, you're not leaving me. We're going to go to dinner. Like, he was nuts. Like, he was absolutely mad. We're going to go to dinner. I'm waiting for you till you finish college. You're not leaving me. Like, I couldn't leave him. Even if I left him, like, there was times I blocked him. He would stalk me. He stalked me at my college. Like, my college tried to help me by letting my class out to walk past us. Okay. The guy was still shouting and screaming. Like, you're not leaving me. We're coming. You're never going to go. Da, da. So I had to, like, use my brain and be like, you know what? Let me finish my lesson. And then I'm going to come back out, wait for me here. As soon as I walked in, my teachers were like, you're not going back into lesson. They were like, does he hit you? And I was like, yeah. I was like, how did you know? He's like, we could tell by his body language and the way he was acting. What do you want us to do? And I was like, I want to go home. And they was like, okay, we'll get you a cab. And they literally booked me a cab from the fire exit to my mum's house. And he was still waiting there. They were like, don't tell him you're going. I was like, okay. Got to my mum's and he's like, why are you taking so long? I was like, I'm not there. He was like, what do you mean? Where have you gone? I was like, I've gone. He's like, what? Why are you doing this to me? And I remember my mum calling him like, what are you doing to my daughter? Like, her college just called me, what's going on? He's explaining that he loved me, that I've changed. You know, the narcissistic behaviour, like, I just want her to be like, it was all my fault why he was acting like that. And then that was like the second to last straw. And then the last straw was like, I broke up with him. And there's many last straws, you know. When I think about it.
That's what the
final straw is when he attacked me in the park. And I remember he's attacking me, but he attacked me in 3 different locations. So each location, police officers were there, and he had bad eyes. So he's like, Jahnay, is that the police? I'm like, yeah, that's the police. He's like, okay, come, let's go. And he was like forcing me to different locations. And then I remember him attacking me, but people were there, but nobody was stopping it. I think everyone was scared. And then I remember thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna die, because he was hailing abuse. Like, you're so stupid. You're a scared. You're a hoe. All these. I'm thinking, I've only been with you. So how am I all these things? But I was all these things because that's what he wanted me to believe. You're a tramp. Nobody wants you. You think you can leave me? Where are you gonna go? Who's better than me? And I'm thinking, oh my God, this guy's gonna kill me. If you're gonna kill me, just kill me now. Like, just unalive me now. Like, I can't. And then he was just attacking me, saying, get to my house. What am I gonna do to you when I get to your house? And I was thinking, I'm gonna die. Literally, I'm gonna die. I'm praying in my head like, God, please, I know I should not be in this situation, but don't let me die today. And I remember he was just dragging me. And I can hear police sirens, and I'm like, God, please let them be for me. God, please save me. I remember saying it over and over in my head. And as he hears the sirens getting closer, the guy is turned from cussing me to telling me how much he loves me and that he can't live without me and he's sorry. And I'm thinking, please be. I'm ignoring him. I'm just like, God, please send these police for me. I look up, police cars, like 4 police officers, and they're coming towards me. And I'm like, what do I say? Because he's looking at me. They're like, are you okay? I said yes. My hair was a bush, and it was meant to be neat. My weave was all up and my clothes all dragged up. I have mud on me. They're like, are you okay? I'm saying yeah. They're like, okay, come, let's speak. I spoke to them. I told them what happened. But I didn't realise they was writing a statement.
Oh, okay.
So I'm thinking I'm just talking to them so they can let me go and I can go home. they were like writing down everything I said, but because they could see I was vulnerable, because I was vulnerable in that state, they basically summoned me to court, so I had to speak against him. And you know that, what's that saying? Not no face, no case. Snitches get stitches, don't snitch.
Yeah.
I'm from a family that's you know, once it's like that. So I'm like, I'm getting someone's support. I'm like, I'm not going. I'm not being a snitch. And then my mum was like, they were like, if you don't go, we'll arrest you. I said, me? Oh, wow. Go to jail and make somebody, make their girlfriend. No. So I said, okay, I'm gonna go to court. So I was like, I don't want to do this, but I said, you have to. You don't have a choice, because there was like 5 people that witnessed the attack, and you've told us without realising, and you've written a statement. I was like, I didn't write a statement. It was like, well, you told us and we wrote it down. I was like, okay. Went to court, they put me behind the screen, like a proper, you know, TV. I was behind the screen, I had to say what happened. And then they put an injunction out so he couldn't come near me.
Okay.
He didn't listen to it because he was still calling me, still texting me, still wanted to know where I was. And then I think the breaking point was I couldn't, you know, soul ties. There was a soul tie, and I couldn't break away. And then I remember thinking, like, God, I know this is not right, but I love him. And then I remember I went out to a party, and I don't know if you watched Murder by My Boyfriend.
Yes.
So basically, it was like that. My relationship was like that, where I would have to send him pictures. People like, where are you? I'll send him a picture. What are you doing? Send him a picture. And I remember him saying to me, oh, you're supposed to come to my house today. Where are you? And I was like, I'm out with my cousins. But I didn't realise I was going to, like, Hertfordshire, which was an hour away.
Yeah.
He thought I was going to central London. So he accused me of being with men. And I'm like, I just sent you a picture. I'm like, what man? Oh, that man in the corner, some little man. I was just like, you know what? So basically, that night, he was being his normal self, but he went a step too far. And basically, one of my family members had hurt themselves. Previously had, like, fallen down the stairs. And then I was very alarmed, like I was scared. It was my grandma. So she had fallen down the stairs and she broke her arm. And I remember calling him, like, in panic, like, I'm so worried about my grandma because I love her so much. Like, I love her dearly. So I was like, I wonder if she's going to be okay. Like, I remember calling him in concern. And then he's trying to console me and be like, don't worry, she'll be fine. A week later, cussing me, oh, yeah, when your grandma fell down the stairs, she should have died. Now, when I heard that, I don't think I even responded. I think I just remembered, like, yeah, Jahnay, this is not it. Like, he can abuse you. That's not either. That's not right. But for him to cuss your grandma, who's old, and I think it wasn't even the fact that he said it. It was the fact that he knew what it would do to me, because he knows how much I love her and how much I value her. So it was like, you're not trying to, like, dwell on the point that she fell down the stairs or that she hurt herself. You just want to hurt me. And I thought, wow. And then I realised, if you can say that, there's no limits. Because that's someone's grandma. Like, I wouldn't even imagine talking about anyone's grandma, let alone telling them they should have died. And I remember seeing that text and I just shut the phone. I said, you know what, God? This is it. Like, this is the end. And I feel like, which is another part that is wrong, but it helped me, is I was already talking to Rain's dad. So it was like, I could let him go because I already had someone else to take my attention. But that was the last straw. It's like, yeah, no, there's no way. You're going to tell me my grandma should die and I'm going to still talk to you. If I allow that, there's something wrong with me. Like, there's something wrong with me. And I think that was the breaking point. And from that day, I didn't speak to him again. He contacted me after from jail on a phone number I didn't know. So I'm answering, like, who's this? And it's him. I said, oh. I hung up straight away. I thought, there's no way you're talking to me. You. And I left it as that. And then I started talking to Rain's dad. And I think that's an issue as well. There was no time to heal. There was no time to heal. It was literally, I don't know what it's like to not be in a relationship or not be speaking to someone or not have someone there. So to get over that terrible situation, I met someone else and then created another terrible situation. So it's like going from hurt to hurt to hurt. And I feel like the most important thing is you just have to learn to heal. And you have to give yourself time to be alone. And I was scared of being alone. So even though I was only 18, 19, maybe if I gave myself time, I would have prevented myself from going through another heartbreak. And now I'm 27, I realise you have to give yourself time to heal. Even though it's going to be lonely, it's going to be boring. Like, sometimes I'm driving, like yesterday, I went out with my friends, they're all going with their boyfriends, I'm driving home singing, and it kills me. So I'm in my car by myself. Like,
but you're enjoying your company.
Yeah, but the thing is, I've got to the point where, yes, it feels lonely. Yes, I'm a bit disheartened, but I'd rather be disheartened by myself than be disheartened in a toxic relationship. And it took me so long to get to that point. But I'm glad I'm at that point. Like, is it lonely? 100% yes. Is it worth it though? Yes, because I know that in the right time, God is going to bring my kingdom spouse. But yeah, I feel like those experiences, toxic relationships, I'm not proud of them, but I know if I didn't have them and I didn't learn from them, I wouldn't be here. Yeah.
That's powerful. That's really powerful. So looking back at what you've been able to come through, how do you feel like sitting here right now, a 27-year-old Jahnay, businesswoman, mother to a beautiful daughter? How do you feel looking back?
How do I feel?
Yeah. Have you taken time to reflect on your journey, like actually deep the severity of the situation? Because not everyone is able to come out of a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
Not everyone escapes a toxic relationship. So how do you feel knowing that you've been able to come out of it and essentially transform your life?
Yeah. I think I'm very grateful. Like, even when I was on the way here today, I was saying that I am who I am because of who I'm surrounded by. And I feel like having my family and God, most importantly, and having love, like even when I was heartbroken, lost and alone, I wasn't alone because I could go to my grandma, I could go to my cousin and they would make me laugh. I feel like I'm grateful for the strength I had in myself and God. I'm literally grateful. That there's no other word that I can think of that I'm grateful, because I know there's some people that will take their own life because of a toxic relationship, or will never make it out, or lose their mind, or in mental health hospital because of what they've been through or had a breakdown. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't say I've never been close to a breakdown, but I was strong enough to not break. Actually, no, I think I've been broken, but there was just something in me. I feel like my parents installed such resilience in me, and love. I feel like, love covers a multitude of sin, but love gives you strength. Like when you have, especially when I look at my daughter, I know that, yes, she has a dad, and yes, she has family, but in reality, she's solely relying on me. So if I'm not here, who's going to look after my child? And I don't actually, you're right, I don't take a moment to sit and look back of how far I've come, because I'm so busy trying to keep, oh, what's next, or what's next. So I feel like I'm grateful, most importantly to God, but myself. Because yes, God gives you the strength, but I also had to make the steps. So I'm just grateful because the journey has been hard, but it's definitely worth it. Like I wouldn't be able to sit here and speak if I didn't go through it. So I'm glad that I was able to take the good from the bad. But yeah, I'm just grateful, honestly.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
That's why I wanted to talk to you as well, because I feel like when I talk to people and we sit here, they don't actually deep where they come from, or they don't have the time to actually offload and talk about some things that they hidden away. So I'm glad that you came and you shared part of your story and you just allowed yourself to speak, because you've taught me a lot. And if we could speak for 5 hours, I would definitely love to. So that just shows how good you are at what you do, and how much your story has an impact on people, and how much people appreciate you. And I just wanted to give you your flowers, because you're doing so well. You are. So thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thank you for your heart. Bless you.
You too.